Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something I've never done on this channel before, and that's a 0 to hero to demonstrate how to go from the ground floor, like absolutely nothing, level 1, and be successful. And today we're going to be doing that on the Bard class. If you want more information on this, I do have a little kind of short guide on the Bard. So my spells and, well, music is all there, and you can see it. And for this one, we're going to be taking Rapier Mastery, which is kind of a tough decision. There are some other ones like interaction speed that could be helpful really early on if you're trying to snag some loot, but I went with Rapier Mastery because I'm expecting to be in some PvP situations or even just cleaning up some goblins. The biggest hurdle on Bard is the fact that you do absolutely no damage, so you could argue that Piercing Shriek and Weaken is maybe a better route for clearing mobs, but you're really going to struggle to get that off in PvP starting out. So as usual, buff yourself with everything, and then hope you can time things right with that rapier. Pretty sure it only hits for like 26 damage to the head. So it's a tough class to get any consistent damage output on. So step 1 to the Bard, make use of Weaken. Makes clearing PvE so much easier. Time is basically your #1 enemy in any situation solo. Clearing PvE, looting chests, you're just not going to have time to do all of it, especially if you get distracted with some PvP. So, the other thing I do is I take Unchained Harmony, which makes opening chests a little bit quicker. It helps you hoover up loot way faster. And we get really lucky here, we actually grab a hand crossbow. Very, very nice weapon on the Bard. But the other thing people mention, and I've experienced it as well, sometimes you can get Unchained Harmony off while dodging PvE, opening that door without being stuck in an interaction little wheel. So, you can use it to escape an unruly situation. This is truthfully a really solid spawn. You get a lot of loot chests which have been buffed a little bit, and the only thing that really bugs you are the mobs on the outside of the, boundaries of this room. You can aggro stuff in the middle if you want to pick it off and you have some range, but you're not going to be doing that on Bard. Kind of get lucky with that survival bow as well. If we can make it out of here, we have 2 decent range options. Dropping shield. And you'll notice I'm playing these songs as if I have charismatic performance. It's not the case. I should probably be doing perfect songs because the buffs will last a little longer. However, I'm playing as if I'm on my level 18 Bard. So, finish your songs. Don't do what I'm doing here and cutting them off early unless you absolutely have to, which truthfully does happen quite often. You'll see how it's saying playing music anyway. That just means it's playing a good version of the song instead of a great version of the song. That is not really ideal because you can get a 120-second cooldown on that buff. It's a lot nicer than the 90 seconds, meaning you're spamming that song way less often. Truthfully, it's just something I overlooked when I was playing, as charismatic performance is almost a must-pick on any setup I use. And you could probably make the argument that it's not so bad starting out as well. Trigger weakness. Couple hits with this rapier, doing literally peanuts. We get a skeleton kill. Kind of been a little lucky with some of the PvP so far. Kind of been left alone. Now, being in this part of the map, I don't expect that to continue, considering this is a very busy hallway. We're gonna buff ourselves pretend like I'm actually finishing that song. One thing I have noticed this playtest, or this early access I should say, spiders seem way more annoying. They just attack. I think their attacks come out a little quicker. And when you're using a rapier with that pointed jab, it can be a little frustrating because you're not always killing them in one hit. One thing when you're starting out, loot everything. If there's pots around, definitely loot them. They're noisy as all heck, but they're worth it. Like, those lanterns are worth 10 gold. All these little gems and stuff are worth quite a bit. And really, a lot of times, that's what you're going to be finding in a chest. Up until some of the recent changes on the chest. Pots and stuff are almost just as good as anything else you could loot. Keeping our action speed up, just in case we get in a little bit of a scramble. Also makes playing songs a little bit faster. You'll notice I'm not really using Allegro or a Accelerando unless I absolutely have to. I don't feel like it makes sense to constantly buff myself with a 9-second, I think it's 9 seconds, buff. So I kind of avoid that unless I absolutely need it. and then I start pumping out the action speed or movement speed. The ones I'm using, the 3 or 4 I'm using, are kind of just nice to have on all the time. Without those buffs active, you are a very weak class. Getting some green items, very handy thing. And the loot is great at breaking barrels. I think it actually breaks them a little bit faster than the rapier, so keep that in mind if you have one that you're stuck on. And for all this noise we're making, we've still been pretty quiet at PvP front. That being said, just before we go through this door, we are going to buff ourselves up, because you never know. And the nice thing about playing a song even early is the fact that the buff doesn't change, just the duration of it does. You're still getting full value, and Harmonic Shield would have saved us a fair bit of damage from that bow. Now we're hearing footsteps close by on the left as well, and this could be the start of a little bit of chaos. Really, I can't fight much, especially when I can't see what exactly I'm fighting. I turn, hoping to kind of corner them in this doorway and land a few rapier hits. Turns out I had a rogue who was deciding he was going to help me, and now it's rapier versus rapier. And that rogue's going to have way more damage than me. We pop our basically slow release heal, and then decide our best course of action is just run. Just run. This guy's got protection bubble on, and a rupture would basically drain, 80% of our remaining HP. So this is when we just make it chaotic, try to get our movement speed going, and maybe we'll get lucky, and some of these mobs will turn aggro onto him. Don't forget you gotta crouch jump over that barrel. Very easy to get stuck on. And we get incredibly unlucky here. But even though the door didn't close quite how we wanted, the second follow-up swing on that rapier smashed him in the dome, leading us to glory. And we have credit for both these kills. And now, just as soon as we get a breather, we have another pitter-patter of footsteps. I'm looking at my loot stash thinking this is pretty solid already. I just need to get the heck out of here. Seeing this really lightly geared fighter means absolutely nothing. He could still one-shot me with that arming sword. He's friendly, but as you should all know, from watching this channel especially, do not trust anybody. And if I was this guy, I'd be taking full advantage of this. 2 corpses on the ground, and a guy crouched by a portal. If I was that fighter, I'd have been rushing me right away. Even a throwing axe would have done me in. So we escaped. And here we have it. We had some pretty serious luck with the hand crossbow and survival bow. Both weapons you can use on the Bard class. And then we have a little bit of, pots, meds, decent couple stashes of gold, and lanterns that sell for 10 G each. So let's do up the total here quickly. I'm terrible at selling stuff, by the way. I always click what I think is everything, and then end up not getting everything. So it's saying right now our stash is worth 130 gold. So there you have it. That is how you succeed 0 to hero on the Bard class. Basically, get lucky and play your tunes right. Now, the first thing I'd be doing after this would be upgrading that sword. So either arming sword or rapier, whatever you prefer. Personally, I'm going arming sword and then switching off rapier mastery and taking charismatic performance. That is probably the method that I would use, decreasing the amount of time you need to be spamming songs and making noise. But don't forget to spam that like button and subscribe button. I don't normally ask, and I know it's best to ask at the start of a video. Screw that. Thank you all for finding this channel and this video, and I'll see you guys next time.